Hey guys, and welcome to Elle's Writing Corner. Welcome to Elle's Writing Corner. Heck yeah, it's Elle's Writing Corner. Woo, woo, L, woo, yeah. That's my jingle. I wrote it on my screen, so it's a first draft, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's going to take off. It might be my breakaway pop hit. Today I'm going to tell you how to get stuff done when you're a crazy person. I'm a super productive writer. I write a lot. I am 30 years old. I'm turning 31 this month, and I have definitely written more than 50 books. I think it's probably closer to 100, but let me tell you, when you start getting like above 50, 60 books, you kind of can just stop counting, in my opinion. So I've written tons, and most of my life I have been an unmedicated crazy person. My diagnosis is depression. One of my biggest symptoms is executive dysfunction. Probably heard of executive dysfunction. And if you haven't heard those words, when you can't get off the couch, like getting off the couch just seems too hard. If you don't have executive dysfunction, this probably sounds like just get up off the couch. But for people with executive dysfunction, the thought process is something like, I have to get my laptop off of my lap. I have to get my feet off of the coffee table. I have to stand up, and when I stand up, the dogs are going to want something from me. And, in order to take care of the dogs and go do this thing that I need to do, I'm going to have to do this, this, and this to take care of the dogs, and it's all just so much, and you're like, just get up, just get up, just get up! And you don't get up. Being medicated properly has taken care of 90% of my executive dysfunction, and the 10% that remains, I assume, is because I am just sort of, the nice way of saying it would be that I'm really efficient, and I just don't want to get up if I don't have to. But if you have executive dysfunction, it gets tricky to get things done. Your day becomes small. The number of things you can get done in a day is just a couple, because the amount of energy it takes to do any one thing and figure out what you're going to do and then actually do it, the energy is so draining. So if you've got this executive dysfunction, as I do when I'm unmedicated, and I only became properly medicated and regularly medicated in the last 3 or 4 years. So I wrote the vast majority of my backlist suffering from depression and executive dysfunction. In the last 4 years, I've probably only written 20 or 30 of the books in my backlist. So we're going to break it down real small. I'm going to tell you how to overcome the insurmountable task of opening your book and starting on it. Now, because executive dysfunction can turn what should be easy chores into impossible ones, opening a document and getting started on it is it can just be way too much. So my advice to you is to not open the document. I'm going to tell you to keep a notebook. And you're not writing your book in the notebook, unless you do write books in notebooks, which is just not the way that I do things. This, to me, does not present the same challenge. Here's what I do. I put the steps on the screen. They've been sitting there. You could read them at your leisure. I hope you already have, so you already see. Keep a notebook. Write in your notebook. Read the notebook. Get a notebook you like. I like this one. I got it at Barnes & Noble for $10. It reminds me of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's got inserts, so you can have different kinds of, it's got blank pages that you can draw on, and it's got grid pages that you can draw Dungeons & Dragons maps on, and it has lined pages where you can just kind of ignore the lines and scribble shit all over it because anarchy. This one's new, so I haven't done very much in it yet, but just keep it with you. And so while you're writing, and so take this with you kind of everywhere, and just when you think about your book, just kind of write notes on it. You don't have to do anything serious about it. Every thought that I have that doesn't go in the document, I write in the notebook. If I'm writing along and I get an idea and I think, well, this character just said this one thing and I want to make sure that I reference it again, you could put it in the document, but it's kind of harder to keep track of, so instead you just write it in here. I doodle my characters while I'm thinking, and they're horrifying drawings, so don't look that closely. I have notes here that say, could I end the book with X character intervening to get Y character into mental health care? Which is not only a huge theme in my life, but a theme in my books is mental illness. I don't have a lot of instructions here because you know your book. It's going to be totally different from mine. Just write about it. Just random thoughts that you have. Here is where the notebook becomes useful. You are trying to get to work. You have the time to work. You cannot make yourself work for whatever reason. You can't open the document. You can't turn on your computer. You can't sit down at your desk. So what I just want you to do is grab your notebook and read it. I'm so tired of this project I'm working on because I'm kind of right at the end. Once that happens, I kind of emotionally am done with books before they're logistically done. I just don't want to open them. I just don't want to work on them. So instead, I'll just open the notebook and I'll start reading it. And then it reminds me, first of all, there are still ideas that I have that I haven't yet addressed. And so it gives me things to think about on the project for the day. So I'm thinking, I need to figure out a present for one character to give another. I still haven't figured that out. So I might write down some notes like, maybe he could give her a meeting with somebody that she wants to meet. Maybe he could give her a book that's meaningful to her. So I'll write down ideas like that. Whenever I am thinking about the insurmountable task of writing, I am thinking about writing, capital W, writing. Now the problem is, who is she going to kiss? Who is he going to shoot with laser blasters? Who is she going to kiss and then shoot with laser blasters? And so you get wrapped up in your story, and hopefully, if you're anything like me, you'll start to remember why you're writing this project and why you like it. And it may turn out that if you're having a problem with your story, it may turn out that opening the document isn't in your best interests anyway. You can't always just throw yourself at a book until it's writable. If I'm having trouble writing a book, it's often because there's something with the story. So this notebook will also ensure that you are looking at the story itself and the problems, and it gives you time to brainstorm whatever kinks you need to work out. And then, whenever I do this, it feels like one by one the barriers just sort of lift away. The things that get in between me and the book just sort of dissolve. Obviously, this isn't a perfect method. It won't work for everybody, and it won't work for every situation. But this is something that I have just found does a really good job of clearing some of my common cognitive hurdles. If you have different hurdles, and I know you do, please comment below and I will talk to you about what I do to overcome them. I would love to hear about your notebooks if you get one and keep one. And I want to know if this works for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because I'm going to start talking about more stuff like this. I'm going to tell you how to write books as a crazy person. I'm going to tell you how to be slightly less of a crazy person. I'm going to tell you how to be a happier crazy person. And I'm going to tell you how to write. Thank you for joining me. Just remember that in Elle's Writing Corner, we keep a notebook, write in the notebook, and read the notebook. Have a great day. Happy writing. Stay sane.